What is Core Siege? So this is a phrase you're going to hear a lot when Siege X launches on June 10th, and this video is just a quick explanation of what exactly Core Siege is because you're going to hear it a lot. And you'll see that it's front and center right next to the brand new game mode Dual Front as its own dedicated button on the main menu of Siege X. But it's pretty simple. Core Siege is just simply your normal Rainbow Six Siege gameplay, so your 5v5 attacker defender role switching. Whether that be quick match, the return of unranked, or ranked itself. These are considered to be core siege. So the question, of course, is why? Why is it that they're separating out to core siege and dual front? Why not just have a page with the playlists on it that we currently have, where you simply have dual front be a separate button, and it would make it a lot easier to get into? But the reason for this is that actually in the future, with every single patch, you're going to see balance changes for core siege, and you're going to see balance changes for dual front because they'll actually be separate. And some of this is super simple. So for instance, in dual front, if you were to use a thermite charge and you stay alive for long enough, that thermite charge actually regenerates and you get it back to use again. Whereas of course in normal siege, that doesn't happen. So when they do balancing changes for dual front, it'll have its own separate kind of entry on the patch notes. And when they're doing balance changes for core siege, they'll of course be separate from dual front. But if things like weapons will stay the same between core siege and dual front, otherwise of course if you had different recoil for different weapons in different modes, that'd be kind of horrible to try and learn. So those things will stay the same, but it could easily be that one operator ends up being really powerful with a certain weapon in dual front and they get nerfed in dual front weapon wise, and that actually affects them in core siege as well. I don't know how their balancing team will consider core siege to be more important balancing wise than dual front or not. It'll probably come down to how different the game modes are played and which one ends up being more popular. If somehow dual front ended up being the most popular mode, it'd be interesting to see how they deal with core siege long term. But my assumption right now is that core siege will probably remain the most popular part of siege going forward for the foreseeable future, but I would not rule out dual front someday potentially overtaking it, as it will be what the new players are funneled into. Not to mention that Ubisoft is also committed to updating dual front multiple times per season, whereas normally you would get one major update with core siege per season, whereas dual front will have at least 2 per season. But anyway, moving on to the conclusion, yeah, Core Siege is basically your 5v5 attacker-defender role-switching game modes like Quick Match, Unranked, and Ranked, and it will get mentioned a lot going forward. We're going to have many videos where we'll talk about Core Siege and we'll talk about Dual Front because they will be getting independent balancing from each other, and patch notes, of course, will be sectioned off into Core Siege and Dual Front going forward from Siege X's launch on June 10th. So expect the phrase Core Siege to be mentioned a lot going forward. Anyway guys, thanks for watching and I'll catch you next time.